I've been asked a number of times, so what's after Agile? Quite an interesting question, and not something that's particularly easy to answer. We've looked at a framework and a philosophy that's only really been around for about, well, in the software sense, around for about 15 years. If we take the roots of Agile, we're looking back to the 1940s. So answering the question, what's after Agile, and I think it's a valid question. I don't think it's an easy thing to answer straight off the bat. And maybe I can just talk about a couple of examples about why that is not so easy to answer. So we take London again. In London, there are about 20,000 registered cabs and about 2 million cars within London. You take a look at the way we are consuming fossil fuels. We're consuming literally billions of liters of fuel per year. And if you take a look at those, at the resources that are used to produce those barrels of fuel, it's something that is going to run out. It's not a renewable resource. We literally go to war to secure oil. So what's around the corner for that crisis? And at this point, there are a couple of interesting alternatives. I think Elon Musk is probably scratching on the surface to what could be around the corner. So taking a look at Agile, what's around the corner for us? When Agile basically got into software development, got accepted as a potential alternative framework for producing good and high quality software, it was typically based at a team level. And it took quite a while, the better part of a decade, before people started considering how do we take this agile team-based framework or these frameworks, and how do we extrapolate that out into larger organizations. And then we started looking at scaled agile adoptions, scaled agile implementations. We looked at DAD, we looked at SAFe, LESS is another example. But is this actually solving the problem? And I don't think so. You take a look at these large organizations that tend to be very hierarchically deep. I don't think scaling agile is the way to go. I think possibly a better alternative to scaling agile would be to descaling the organizations. Rather create entities that are no longer organizations, but rather symbiotic organisms. If you look at that, much flatter, much more tightly connected collaborative structures rather than these deep hierarchical structures. How do we do that? How do we take multinational organizations and actually get them to look like these symbiotic organisms? I don't know. It's something that I'm looking at the moment, something that I'm digging into, and I'm having some very interesting conversations. And maybe that's something you guys can think about and contact me, and we can have a coffee and have a very interesting conversation.